So my first topic here is in asylums. I mean, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. We saw what happened tragically in Minneapolis. Individual thought it was a good idea to open fire on innocent children. And this isn't the first time that we've had these crazies do this. This also happened earlier up in Tennessee. And I think we need to have a serious discussion on trans people, mental illness, and them not being able to procure firearms. You know, men and women are different. We're biologically different. And if you try to take a guy and tell him that he's a woman or he feels like he's a woman, something is wrong with him. So I think that creates a lot of issues for us as a society, and we need to stop cucking ourselves and thinking, oh, let's go ahead and just, you know, he feels like he's a woman, so let's treat him like he's a woman. And then he goes ahead and plays in female sports and smashes all the girls because they suck. So it's like, you know, for all the feminists that are mad at me, you guys should agree with me on this one at least, because I'm protecting female sports even though it's useless. So I do think that women should have the ability to play sports and everything, but let's not be delusional here and think that it's the same as male sports or that it's entertaining. Nobody shows up to WNBA games. The NBA has to subsidize it. And yeah. Oh, look, they're saying, oh, bro, we show up.
So you said that shouldn't be allowed to have guns, correct?
Yes.
But don't you think it's a slippery slope, and eventually that might be tyrannical overreach, that the government might ban like more people from having guns?
That's a totally good argument. We already have that, though, because we already have under 18 U.S.C. 922, which is, you know, what the federal agencies arrest people for whenever they're a prohibited person. We already have a bunch of different classes of people that can't have guns, and I think we need to put people in that classification.
But like
under the mental illness.
But wouldn't they just put more people? Like, couldn't they consider people based off certain political views mentally ill? And wouldn't that just start making to where eventually no one can have guns?
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely make that argument, but I think it's pretty distinct that people that are will need to definitely be put in there. I mean, if you have a certain political ideology, that could be on a case-by-case basis, but I think when it comes to pretty obvious that there's something wrong there with them mentally.
All right.
No worries.
Based off that, you said that black people are crooks, right?
Yes, they tend to be, yes. Not all, but they tend to be.
So if we follow that same logic, do you know how many mass shootings there have been in the past, like, couple of 10 years?
How many mass shootings?
Yes.
Yeah, how many mass shootings?
It's about 3,000 or 4,000 since, like, 2018, right?
Okay.
How many of those shootings have been perpetrated by trans people?
I know this year, or over the past 2 years, we've had 2 or 3.
It's
Nashville,
4.
this one.
It's 4 since 2018, right?
It's 4? Okay. That's 4 too many.
Right. That would come out to about 0.1% of the population, right?
Sure.
Do you know how many people in America are trans?
How many?
About 1 or 2%.
Yeah, it's a very small percentage, yeah.
So,
I've talked about this before where I've said that like people on the right wing tend to inflate the trans problem, but I still do think it's a problem, and I do think that they shouldn't have guns, and I don't think they should have the ability to adopt children either. They're a minority for sure. I see what you're saying. You're like, look, they're a minority. Why do we care? Well, they just killed 2 kids yesterday, so that's a problem. And quite frankly, I think if we can go ahead and handle this problem right now while it's still a topic, they shouldn't have guns.
So based off the logic, though, you know who commits 97% of the mass shootings in America?
Who?
Straight men.
What's that?
Straight men.
Sure.
So based off that logic, would you say that straight men are more likely to commit a mass shooting than a trans person?
Well, straight men are also the majority of the cops, the majority of the firefighters, the majority of the guys that protect this country, the majority of guys that you know, are in our armed forces.
97% though.
Yeah, but that's true. But the reality is that they're not mentally ill. Like if you definition, you're mentally ill. Something's wrong with you. Okay, versus being a straight man, that's natural. Not the same whatsoever. Not an equal comparison whatsoever.
My point is though, you're trying to say that people are more dangerous and they shouldn't have guns whenever they,
yes,
per capita, commit less mass shootings than straight men, which is a per capita stat that you brought to earlier, saying that's why black people are crooks, is because 13% of them commit 50% of the violent crimes, right? So why can't you apply that same logic to straight men? Because
again, being straight is natural. It's the way that we've been able to create this beautiful society we have now was created by straight men, right? People are inherently sick. Something is wrong with them. If you cannot sit there and identify the fact that you don't know what your gender is, well, life is a lot harder than figuring that out, which bathroom you got to go to. So these are people that aren't mentally assimilable to the society, and they need to be, you know, kind of kept out from certain privileges, such as having a gun.
Even though they commit less shootings.
And to compare them to straight men is absolutely ridiculous and
even
ludicrous.
Though they commit less shootings than other groups.
And
right?
not only that, also keep in mind that 60% have mental issues. 60% of them, and that's just the people that decide to actually go ahead and go see a psychiatrist. We haven't even figured out the people that don't go see a psychiatrist.
Right.
So a
but
majority of them are already mentally ill. That disqualifies them off rip.
I don't think you're addressing my point about.
I'm definitely addressing
No,
your point.
hold
You're trying
on.
to compare to straight people.
I'm
and that's
comparing
not
the numbers.
What was that?
I'm comparing the numbers.
Yeah, but the numbers need to be stemmed from somewhere. And if we're going to compare the numbers, we need to compare apples to apples, not apples to oranges. You're comparing straight heterosexual men that built the world up to where we see now so that you can enjoy a lot of the benefits you have, like the headphones on your head, the shirt you're wearing, the buildings that we see here, to that don't contribute anything to society besides mental illness, us having to call them she when it's really a he, and a bunch of other problems. They don't really contribute to society the same way that straight men do. So they're not the same whatsoever.
No, in that case, though, then the point you're coming to isn't based off any numbers or facts. It's based off the fact that you just don't like.
Well, we need to have some type of nuance here and understand what we're comparing and be honest here. If we're just going to go straight off numbers and not identify apples to apples, then it's not going to make sense.
I am identifying apples as people who identify, because you believe being choice, correct?
What was that?
Do you believe being choice?
Yeah.
Okay, so you think being straight is a choice?
What was that?
Do you think being straight is a choice?
No. I think, well, being straight is a choice or being gay is a choice?
Being straight.
Yeah, that's the natural way that it's supposed to be.
So everybody else who's outside of that, they're making a choice to do something else, right?
They're making a choice to be strange, yes. They're making to be a degenerate.
So my point is, though, people who identify, who are straight, who are men, right? They
Yep.
commit an over amount of the mass shootings. I don't think that straight men are more likely to commit mass shootings, but the numbers state that if you have a lower chance of committing a mass shooting because they're 1% of the population and only commit 0.1% of the mass shootings.
Again. It's great. Like they're like, see,
And the only thing
he's talking numbers.
The only thing that you're saying,
it's very simple, bro. It's very simple. It's very
don't like
simple.
numbers?
Straight men created the society. Okay?
You don't like numbers?
A lot of the no, it's not about the numbers. It's about if you're gonna go ahead and compare the numbers, you got to compare the numbers where it makes sense. Okay, comparing straight men to men when don't contribute to society to the same degree that straight men do. See, this is how crazy it is, right? We live in this world, right? We live in this world where people forget how society was built. We've civilized the world so much that we've forgotten how we got here in the first place. We forgot that this country was built upon the backs of heterosexual men that had a family to go back to. So it went ahead and spurred ingenuity
slaves were
to
forced
go
to
ahead
come
and go ahead and create a society. To compare, like, well, straight guys do X, Y, Z. Also, straight guys are the majority. There's more straight guys than there are people.
Right,
and
but
trans people don't contribute to society, so they're not going to get the same level of. I'm not going to give them the same level of. Oh yeah, let's go ahead and accept this bad behavior from them when they're a minority and they only create problems. Okay,
straight
so
men
it's not
make
the
up
same
over
whatsoever.
40% of the population, and yet commit 97% of the mass shootings.
Again, but they also
that's over double.
But they also protect society. They also contribute to society. They're also the working force. They're also paying taxes. They're also doing all these
so
other
that's
things.
okay.
So
That they're allowed to commit double the mass shootings. Is what you're saying?
well, if they're significantly more, then it only would make sense that they would commit more of the crimes if they do. But you're offsetting all the other positives that they're doing as well.
I think everybody has. I think everybody has something to offer. That's not my point. My point is based off
what I'm
of,
saying is that offer. That's the problem. So that's why a lot of their
that's
a lot of the
not
issues that
based
they
on any
bring.
facts, though. That's because you just don't like.
No, it's not that I don't like them. I think that they need to be put in a certain position where they don't have certain accesses to certain things that can create problems for the rest of society, whether it's having guns, which I think is problematic in itself. I don't think felons should have guns either. I don't think illegal aliens should have guns. I don't think people that renounce their citizenship, people that got a dishonorable discharge, I think we need to put them in that category alongside all those other individuals.
Based off the fact that you just don't like them, though.
No, I don't
Because
like
they
the fact
don't-
that they have guns and that they're not mentally stable. That's what I don't like.
But they
can
don't-
exist. I don't have a problem with them existing or whatever, but if you're going to go ahead and be mentally ill, you don't get the same privileges and rights as people that are sane.
That's
Simple as that. Just like the other people, like that's by your logic. Oh yeah, you hate felons and you hate everybody else. I don't hate them. I just think that we need to have restrictions on certain people to protect the mass society. I think that how people feel,
You think
what's
a
real
crime?
are two different things. What was that?
You think being a crime?
No, it doesn't necessarily need to be a crime, but I don't think that they should necessarily be.
Because you're lumping them in with just criminals.
What was that?
You're just lumping them in with criminals. People
No,
who are
they're mentally ill.
dishonorably
They're
discharged.
mentally ill.
Felons.
And that under federal
non-citizens
statute,
in America. You're just lumping them in with criticals and equating it to essentially.
they're
like
mentally ill.
Mentally ill people
They're mentally ill.
can't have guns. People with anxiety can have guns.
No, people that are mentally ill cannot have guns. Actually,
Some can, yes.
No, you cannot. If you had, it's
might
literally.
wanna double check
if
that.
you, yes, go ahead, look it up. 18 USC 922. Look it up. There's people that have mental issues or been committed to a mental institution cannot have guns.
Well, hold on. But what kind of mental issues?
No, not
though?
everyone could buy a gun. Some
Because
idiot
I
over
see
here
your
on the
sign that
side.
says put mental in asylum.
Yes.
You're putting the cart before the horse right now. You're saying that anybody who was put in a mental asylum shouldn't be able to have a gun because that's the law. But you're saying that should be put in asylum and therefore they shouldn't have guns. So you're basing your argument off something that isn't even based in reality.
Yeah, put them in asylums and don't let them have guns. There you go. Bam. Who's up next? Who's up next?
Thank you.
But you're clearly not if you're saying put in asylums. Like, why? Like, why can't you just love everybody?
Look, man, like I said, I think they create a lot of problems. I don't think they contribute to society the same way. Like the other guy was trying to make the argument of like, well, you want to go ahead and take guns from straight men commit a lot of the crimes. Yeah, but straight men also built up to society, so they're going to get way more tolerance than contribute to society.
But I'm
That's a
not talking
ridiculous
about
argument.
that because that's a whole different stat line, and I'm not talking about that. But you're basically
you brought them up.
You're basically putting transgenders in asylums
Yeah.
based off your personal belief, your personal bias to put transgenders in asylums.
Yeah. Put them in asylums. Don't let them have kids and don't let them have guns. Yep.
But why? Why can't they have kids? Why can't they enjoy the same? The same
I don't
thing
think
the
gay people
military
should be able
fights
to-
for. We fight for freedom.
Okay.
What if somebody took all your freedoms away?
Kids grow up the best in a nuclear family with a father and a mother, not two dads, not two women, and definitely not two people that don't know what their gender is.
Well, all it took was one mom for me, and I'm still
If
here
you want to
breathing
go ahead
and
and be gay or whatever, that's fine, but I don't think that that's fair that the child should be suffering because of your sexual degeneracy, because they will suffer. And we got a long line of people behind you, bro, so we can...
Okay, bye, Mr. Myron. Have a great day.
No worries. You could get back in line if you want. I just want to make sure everyone gets a chance. Yeah, what's up, man?
Okay. So your main point for putting transgender
Yeah,
people
put
in
this one.
asylums. Yo.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
Let's put this one.
So
We're going to switch this topic too, guys, because we got to run through these.
your main reason is that they have committed a handful of mass shootings, correct?
Well, there's a lot of them are mentally ill is really what it comes down
Okay.
to. Is the majority of
Why
them
do you
have
think
mental
they're
illness
mentally-
problems.
Why do you think they're mentally ill?
Dude, if you don't know what bathroom
they-
you should be going to or what gender you identify as, you are mentally ill. Something's wrong with you.
If there was someone standing on this campus saying, "You, as a straight man, I do not accept your existence," do you think you would also be mentally ill from that? Do you think you could also develop anxiety or depression?
No, I
because
would tell
someone is
them,
denying your existence.
I'll tell them heterosexual men built this country, so shut up.
Okay. Wow.
Simple as that, dude.
Question.
Like, we are not the same. Like I'm not gonna give, because like the argument you guys are trying to make is like, oh well, straight men do a lot of bad things. They commit crimes. They do X, Y, Z. Yeah, but they also built up to society. So we're not gonna have the same tolerance for these fucking weirdos that don't know what their gender is over straight men that built society. The entire world that you guys enjoy now was built by straight men. We live in such a civilized world that a lot of you guys are so soft that you guys don't remember who built this world and how we got here in the first place, because men are no longer men. Men go ahead and defer to female authority, thinking that women think right, when in reality women don't build anything. Okay, and in reality women don't build up society. They don't control jobs that control infrastructure. So we've gotten so progressed and so fucking left that we forgot who built this country and who built society in the first place. The world that you enjoy now is based off of male ingenuity, not female ingenuity, not ingenuity, not gay ingenuity, not none of that crap. It was straight men that built this world. So guess what? I'm gonna have far more tolerance for them. Yes, a majority of men are criminals and also retarded, but a majority of men are also geniuses and built up the world and all the inventions and all the conventions that we have nowadays. So they're gonna have another, I don't know what, I'm trying, you didn't invent Wi-Fi, double check that one. You should be in the kitchen, I don't know why you're talking.
Shit.
Anyway, back to what I was saying. See, women can't even control themselves. Notice how the guys are able to control themselves and they wait their turn. Then the women are just yelling in the background, etc. Get her a spatula somewhere. Yes, look at her. She can't even take it. She's a fucking walking up. Oh, fuck you. Oh. And then she said women invented Wi-Fi. That's not true. I actually double checked it. You guys don't invent anything
Yo,
except
can
for
I ask
fucking
some more
headaches.
questions, man? Or are you gonna keep talking?
Not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
This is why women. This is why you guys should be able to vote.
What do you think is one of
Anyway.
the first great societies of the world?
What was that?
What do you think is one of the first great societies of the world?
There's many.
The
There's
Greeks,
many.
maybe?
Yeah, Greeks,
Have you ever
Romans,
seen the movie
etc., yeah.
300?
Many. What was that?
Have you ever heard of the 300?
The
A band
Spartans?
of homosexual Greek soldiers.
The Spartans?
They are the foundations that this society is built on. To say that homosexual people are mentally ill is just incorrect. They've been around since the dawn of humanity. Another question. Okay, you
Yeah,
believe
what's
that
up?
you believe that all women are dumb.